I'm gonna come to WSU and it's gonna be a different mentality. I promise you. Like everything I say that I'm gonna do. I promise you.
Go
Like
Cougs, man. I
Go
love to hear it.
Cougs, man. Today we are continuing the Cougar Commit series. We have another 2 players on that committed to Washington State University just the other week. First up is edge defender out of Camas, Washington, Camas High School, Luke Webb. Luke has dealt with a lot of adversity throughout his life and his playing career up to this point, and he plays with his heart on his sleeve. You will love this interview, and he is a perfect fit for the WSU community. And after Luke, we have Cash Landau, who is a tight end out of Franklin High School in Portland, Oregon. Cash led all of 6A Oregon players his junior season in receiving touchdowns with 17, and as a tight end, he's coming into Pullman looking to make an impact on the offensive side of the ball. To stay up to date on all things Washington State University football, make sure to like and subscribe to the Couch GM for more content like this. And if you or somebody you know is thinking of buying, selling, or refinancing a property in the Pacific Northwest, make sure to reach out to myself, Connor Webb, the Couch GM, as I'm a mortgage broker during the day when I'm not making these sports videos, and it's my job to assist my clients in finding the right home loan financing option for their needs. If you'd like to reach out, I'll have a link in the description of this video, and I'll talk to you soon. And with that, let's get into the podcast. All right, Luke, thanks for joining us on the podcast. First off, congratulations on the signing of last week. I know you played in the state title last night at Husky Stadium. We could get into that. That didn't go quite how we hoped, but walk me through that last week. It's been a lot that's going on. Signing pen to paper, committing to Washington State, the championship game last night. What's that experience meant for you?
You know, it's really special, especially because like the amount of time it took to get there. I mean, like being a freshman and wanting to be there, like now. I mean, um, it took a great deal of time, and now that I'm here, I wish I could go back because like I wish I could like really appreciate where I was. But I'm really excited to be signing to Washington State. I'm really thankful, and it went by so fast. It did, and obviously this past week has been really special. I wish I would. It kind of was a 2-to-1 ratio. Kind of like I wish because I had my birthday this weekend too, or this week too. So it was supposed to be winning the state championship, my birthday, and then signing. Well, not and either way, it was a great week. I had a lot of fun. Not everybody gets to go to a state championship, not everyone gets to sign. So I'm really stoked, and like I can't wait to go to Washington State. I'm already telling you guys it's gonna be different. Like I'm gonna set. My goal is to be the greatest of all time, and like I've always had that in my head, and you know, I I'll show Coug Nation what I'm about because I know like this year, my senior year, like it's been hard because battling, like my shoulder and stuff, just kind of like getting that kind of addressed. It's because on D line, it's hard to like if you have like a hurt shoulder, it's like that's kind of like a QB hurting his like his hand, his thumb or his like his finger. It's like it's kind of like it's essential to the position you're playing. You know what I mean? But I mean, once I get that all figured out, like it's gonna be lights out from there, and I'm gonna show you guys what I'm about.
Honestly, Luke, the confidence is just jumping off at the screen for us, and this is what exactly Cougar Nation loves to hear. What kind of helps breed that confidence and just knowing, hey, you want to be the next defensive staple, the Peyton Palouse or the Hercules Mataafa type that we've been missing for a year.
That confidence comes from really just the work I've put in. You know what I mean? Like I'm one of those people. If I don't work, then I don't feel confident. And to me, understanding that I have to work and I have to be the hardest worker, it it um it helps me. It just builds my confidence. It stacks it. Just I mean, I'm one of those guys where I hate rest days because it's like, oh, someone else is outworking me. You know what I mean? And yeah, I just try to get the work in as much as I can, and I really want to bring that to Washington State. And I want to show them just kind of like I just that grind mindset. And I don't know, I know they already have that, but I feel like coming from like where I'm from, it's just like especially because my story, like just kind of growing up not really having much, and like I had to figure out like this is my only way out of like where I don't want to be working at McDonald's. I don't want to be you know what I mean? Like I I really want to make a name for myself, and it was really important to me to kind of in the situation that I was in to kind of like um just shoot for the stars and just make it all happen and bet on myself because like no one else is going to do it for me. Like I have to do this. Like it's so I got one shot. Like I have to do this. I'm super tired. I just got done with the state championship game, so
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry it didn't end up, how you wanted, but you played at Husky Stadium, right? Was that pretty sweet?
yeah, that was cool. That was really cool. Have a nice stadium, but I kind of like the whole time I was there, I was like, I'll be back. Like I'm definitely, and I'm gonna come back with a dub.
Hey,
I was
cut that, Connor. Cut that right now.
Yeah, let's get into some of your story. You played 3 years in Southern California. You've dealt with a lot of adversity in your life up to this point, and then you transfer up to Camas for your final year. Walk us through kind of some of your story and playing those 3 years in California and then the move up here.
It was special. It was really special. I really, just kind of like even though I had a lot of fun. This is the most fun football season I've ever had up here. Like in general, it's the most fun football season I've ever had. But like, there's something special about like really like kind of like having a class of brothers and just kind of being able to play football with them for a great deal of time, especially because just kind of with that school, there's like there was a holdback program that I went to, and then a couple of my buddies from there went to the same school that I went to, and so it was like I knew them for at least like a year more and some change, just because of just like where we were. And so, I mean, it's special because you really love those guys, and it sucks to kind of see them. I guess it sucks to leave them, but I mean, I'm going to see them all at the next level. You got Jake Flores, Madden Framo, all these big dudes. I mean, they're great people, and they're great football players, and I'll see them on the field again. And I miss being down there though. It was the football is like it's uncomparable. People say Texas football is the best. Like people say Florida football is the best. I mean, it's good, but it's not California. California really is the best. I mean, you have modern day Bosco, and then you have other teams like Sierra Canyon that aren't even as good as Bosco, but you play them against like a Duncanville, and they'll probably still beat them. Like I just like that. You know what I mean? I miss California. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like that's my home. I'm a beach kid, and that's just kind of that's where my family's from. I mean, we all kind of moved up here, and then I kind of followed with them, and that's just what I grew up with. Going to the beach with my dad, my brother, and just throwing the ball to the dog and just going in the water and just surfing. That's really just what I've been about.
Hey, you don't get any. You don't have too many surfers that can get after your ass in the backfield. So that's a great. That's a great mix.
Yeah, no, get that from my dad. He was a surfer. My dad and I played the same position, so the apple doesn't fall far from the tree at all. Which is funny because I always thought I was going to be a receiver.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to be a tight end so bad.
So when did you start packing on the weight and start really hitting the weight room? Obviously, you put on quite a bit of size.
Oh, I think it really all started to change for me because I started lifting. I think I started lifting when I was 13. I started lifting when I was 13, and just kind of like I didn't realize how much of a good outlet it was for everything I was going through at the time. Just kind of with stuff with my parents and stuff like that, and it just kind of it felt good to get in there and just like let it all go and just like the pain. The pain was just like I could help deal with it. You know what I mean? And I just always want like every set, every rep. I was just like getting after it, and it's just I love it so much. Like it's I have a lot of loves, and I honestly, when I'm done with football and I'm done going to NFL, I really want to I want to make a gym. I by the way, I love wrestling too, so I really want to make a joint gym with like powerlifting and stuff like that, along with like sports fitness and stuff like that, and then like with a joint mat room, which would be pretty dope. That's my dream. I really want to make that happen,
Nice.
and I'm really excited. And obviously, just be an entrepreneur, and yeah, just learning about sports branding and stuff like that. I'm really into it, and yeah, but also like the weight room has done a lot for me. Like it's helped build me who I am today. I mean, not who I am today, but like it's helped me deal with a lot of things. You know what I mean? And especially the mentors I got from it, like my strength and conditioning coaches. From my old school to now to just other coaches. From like other places, just kind of like helping coach me. And obviously I've been doing it. I feel like I've been doing it so long and being able to retain all they've been teaching me. I feel like I can really I'm getting to the point where like I understand it a lot better. And like how how the body works and like how you want to attack each muscle and like what outcome you want with like every set, every rep. just stuff like that. I really nerd out on that kind of stuff, and I really just I really just love that nature of just like, you know, attacking. You know, how you work out is like how you like how you like how you get your what's the word I'm looking for, like how you get your outcome of like what your muscle like. So if you burn out, you're said, yeah, like your muscle like it'll look better, but like it doesn't mean it's functional muscle. You know what I mean? Like there's a meaning behind like there's a way to work out for like functional muscle, and then there's big muscle. You know what I mean? And for me, I used to work out like a meathead, and then I kind of learned that, you know, there's a happy medium of having to rest, and then having to take care of your body, and then treat it like a, you know, like a temple. Your body's your temple, and now that I've learned that, it's definitely changed the game for me.
Yeah, that's awesome, and that entrepreneur mindset is really cool, and especially now in college football with NIL,
Yeah,
the bigger that you build a brand and have that entrepreneurial spirit, you know, the more that you can build that brand into something that could be used post playing career.
yeah,
Definitely want to get into the wrestling piece, but let's back up just a second. So your junior year of high school, we actually just had on quarterback prospect or commit Steele Pizzella, and he
yeah.
mentioned that he played against you his junior year. So walk me through, you know, that game. What was it like to try to cover Seal?
Man, good old. You know, that kid. You know, he's real. Like I don't care what anybody says about him. He's legit, and I playing against him because he played at Notre Dame. He's real, man. Especially with the defense we had. You know, we had dudes like Matt Framo, you know, me, Clarence Chaney, a bunch of other dudes, and he was just slicing us up. And it was he's legit. He's got an arm, and he can run the ball. And I was just trying to get after him all game, and I'm glad he's my teammate because that dude's legit. And I can't wait, you
Hey,
know, to
Luke,
spend the next 4 years with him because that dude, that I don't care what anybody says, that guy's legit.
Luke, I'll say this. Remember, he wears a blue jersey at practice. You can't touch him. All right.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I've had trouble with that in the past, but I'll because I get too into it in practice. I take practice really seriously. You know, just kind of, you know, with that mindset of like always going hard at practice because you practice how you play, because when you practice how you play, you know, you end up kind of like the game becomes easy. You know what I mean? And like that's always been like my big thing is like practicing really hard so the game's easy. Like the practice should be harder than the what I've always been taught is the practices should be harder than the game.
You mentioned that you are into wrestling. When did you start getting into wrestling? And when you transferred up to Camas, I saw that you actually got like fifth in a state championship
Yeah,
before you even right when you got to Camas.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, I was just funny.
Also, what weight class were you in? You were a
I saw you
230
were wrestling
pound.
like 285.
Yeah, yeah.
That's insane.
Those are big dudes, man. Yeah, I know. I had a lot of fun. You know, I seriously like I ended up loved wrestling, and I've been wrestling for about since my freshman year, and I it seems kind of funny that the reason I ended up doing this, but so my cousins actually ended up wrestling, but they're not the reasons why I wrestled. So I there was this football player that I looked up to. His name was Justin Flo, and I saw this video one time of him like body slamming some running back, and I've always wanted to do that, like straight up. I'll take the personal foul. I don't care. That just sounds super cool to me. Like just like thinking I'm just slamming them. And so I was like, dude, you know what? If I wrestle, that could totally help me out. Like I could totally, and plus like the conditioning. And I kind of went off from there. Ended up not liking it for the first like year. And then second year, I went to state my sophomore year. Then junior year, I went to state and I placed. And I just like the beauty in it is just like the hard work. Like it's like one of those sports where like it's the purest form of like, I mean, in anything, but like the work you put in, you'll get out. You know what I mean? And it's like it's just like you're in there in a tiny little, well, not tiny little mat room, but like our mat room isn't the biggest, but it's still like when you have enough people in there, it feels pretty tiny. And so you're just in there, there's sweat everywhere, and you're like rolling with, you know, whoever you're going with, and you're just going 1,000%, and you're just like, and the conditioning is just crazy. And I'm super blessed to be able to like to be at Camas because their program is just like it's a real program, especially at my other school too. Wrestling, it was newer, but it's still like the coaches there, they're big mentors to me, and Coach Constantine, he's a big mentor to me at Camas, and I didn't know it, but I'm really blessed to be able to wrestle because it's the fact that like I always used to hate it. Now that like I really can see a future and like having like a business in it and like always trying to like help kids out and like have camps and stuff. Like I'm super happy that like like the stuff I got from it, and like the stuff it's taught me about losing and stuff like that. It's super important.
In terms of tape, guys you look at that you maybe model your game after in the pro level as well as the collegiate level, who are guys that you model your game after or can't get enough tape of?
TJ Watt, Nick Bosa. I watch those guys frequently. I think, I look up at TJ a lot. I feel like, I swear, like him and I play on the exact same side. We throw the exact same moves. Like I tried, like him and I have a lot of resemblance. And I just love TJ's game. I love like that. I even do his I even do his celebrations when he gets a tackle. Like I'll just do the kick. I do all of that. I try to, like I want to be just like those guys. And then for college, I would say because I definitely watch more college than I do NFL. Because I feel like, I think college is cooler, honestly. I think it is. I
Hey,
think there's
same
more.
here, man.
That's what I'm saying.
The passion.
That's a good one. There's so many guys. That Nick Harbor kid's pretty good. That kid's pretty good. I think he's a beast. And then there's like he's from USC because I actually from SoCal. I mean my dad went to USC, so I always paid attention to them. I think his name's Mill. His name's like me. His IG is like Money Mill, but he's number 10 for USC. That guy's a stud. I just kind of take a little bit from everybody. I always see like, oh, like I always try to like configure like how they move and just stuff like that, like why they have, just I'm always into details and I always want to figure out like why does he have 12 sacks? Like what's the footwork looking like? What's the thought process behind each move, like for each set, for each set of what the tackle gives and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm super detail oriented. So I always try to be like focus on like every little detail. You know what I mean? I've always been like that, trying to like figure out and just like try to because I want to be like them so bad. You know what I mean? I always try to like take a little piece from everybody's game.
Love that.
Absolutely. Walk me
Mhm.
through the recruiting process for yourself, the past couple of years and how you ended up picking Washington State over some of the other schools that offered you.
Okay, yeah. So I got my first offer my sophomore year. I'm pretty sure going into my sophomore year. It was UNLV, and I was super stoked. From there, I got like Big Sky. I got a couple Big Skies. It's kind of hard to remember now, but yeah.
Montana State, Montana. Yeah, we looked up the recruiting profile.
Yeah, I got like UNR, and then Washington State actually. So Coach Malone, I think, yeah, Coach Malone. He actually he when I was at J Sarah, he actually when I was a freshman, he talked to me. And I remember being so mad because he couldn't talk to me. I was like, "Oh man, screw this! Like, oh, someone else would get me." And I was so mad because I was a freshman. Like, I don't know. And so it's just funny the fact that like now that I'm going to Washington State, it's just funny how stuff works out. And that whole process too was like it was a blessing. I was at wrestling practice, and I kind of I think the week before I was kind of talking to Chapo. Him and I were just talking. He was really just trying to get to know me, and we hit it off. Chapo's a great guy, and he was just saying that like I was definitely compared to like some of the other recruits, a lot more vocal because I feel like a lot of them are like kind of like yeah, like stuff like that. Like they'll kind of just be short, but like I really want to know, like I was just trying to be personable, and I feel like that really stood out to Chapo. And from there, it was really just like talking to Coach Dickert, him and I talking, and then obviously I got offered when I was right before wrestling. But I always remember that. I was so stoked. I was so happy because yeah, it was right before wrestling practice, and it was my first like bigger offer, and it was Washington State, and like I was so stoked. And I've actually had a couple of coaches that went to Washington State, so like I was like, oh man, isn't that sweet? And then when I knew I was going to commit, I had this feeling. It was just like this feeling like I love the amount of like the amount of love they showed me and like how much like care they have for me, and just obviously the fan base. It just felt so right. And I obviously Coach Miley, he's a great guy. I know he can develop me, and I know it'll be great from there. Like I know they'll get me to where I need to be, so I'm not even worried about it.
And I saw in a write up that, you kind of define the Cougs versus everybody mentality, and that, when you officially gave the verbal to WSU, that you held off on announcing that to anybody because you didn't want the publicity. Can you walk me through kind of that mindset of maybe working in the shadows?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I, I'm just kind of over the whole, like, 247, like all the hype, like I just like I'm over it, man. Like I'm straight up like overtime season. I really don't care for any of those guys. You know what I mean? I just feel like it's I feel like I don't want to be part of their game. I don't want my name in their mouth. I feel like, I feel like for the player I am, I feel like I should have had a lot of attention, a lot earlier. And if, I feel like, now that I am who I am, I feel like they shouldn't have the right to talk about me. No hate at all. I mean, I'm not hating, but it's just like I want my business to be my business. And, I just want I want this to be between me and my family and WSU, and I'm super thankful. And I couldn't be more blessed. And I just feel like like I've had enough hype. Like it is what it is. Like not everybody needs to know about it. Family, friends, my school. I mean that's enough for me. And Coug Nation, obviously.
See a lot of
Absolutely.
parallels with the Watts and your story. Those are similar similar mindsets. And obviously the Watts, I don't know if TJ was a walk on, but JJ was a walk on, correct?
Yeah, he was. He was
Yeah.
at Wisconsin. Yeah.
And then what are you most looking forward to getting to campus? It looks like you're going to be an early enrollee, so you'll be getting up there in January. Is that right?
Actually, no. So no, I'll I
Okay.
wish I was. I really wish I was, honestly. I really wish I was. Um, I'll be up there. So the day after I walk, which is I think is June 8th,
Okay.
if I'm not too, yeah, I think so. So the day after I walk, I'll be in Washington State. I'll be at Pullman. And I can't wait for that. I mean,
Beautiful.
yeah, I know. Seriously, I can't get there soon. Like I wish I was there today. Honestly.
Well, awesome, Luke. Really appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on. It's been awesome to getting to know you a bit, and looking forward to seeing you progress when you get out there. And we'll see you on the field at some point soon.
Yes, sir. I really appreciate you guys. I'm not joking. Hey, I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come to WSU, and it's gonna be a different mentality. I promise you. Like everything I say that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do. I promise you.
Go
Like,
Cougs, man. I
go
love to
Cougs.
hear it.
Thanks, man. All right, Cash. Thanks for joining us on the podcast. Really appreciate you coming on. First off, congratulations on committing to Washington State University earlier this week. Let's start with signing day. It was a bit of a surprise. We were able to get you to sign. Walk me through that day, what that means for you, and that process.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I got started getting recruited by Washington State kind of in like early February of this year. And then I went on unofficial visit in May. Kind of fell in love with it right away. And then just like past week, they called me back up and wanted me to go on an official visit. And I kind of committed like 2 days before signing day. So, but yeah, it was really exciting and really thankful for it.
When was that official visit? Like 2 weeks ago? Like how long ago?
Last weekend, so like a week ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So were you up there for a game then?
Yeah. Game day against Wyoming.
Gotcha. Yeah. Walk me. It wasn't the outcome that we wanted for that
Yeah.
game, but walk me
Sorry.
through visiting the campus that first time and kind of what that experience was like.
Yeah, for sure. I went out there on Friday, so Friday, Saturday night I stayed. And it was senior night, so I got to experience the seniors give a little speech and during the meetings. And I really got to experience the brotherhood and the culture that Washington State brung. Because I know a lot of teams talk about that, but when you really get to experience it, that was something that I really wanted to be a part of. And then Saturday we just did a lot of touring of the campuses and stuff, and super nice campus. Joel and Taylor, the recruiting coordinators, they're really answered all my questions, super helpful. And then yeah, we had dinner with Dickert and Coach Witt, and I really just felt at home right away. So yeah.
And
As a
so
tight
your junior,
end, oh, go ahead. Sorry,
go for
Connor.
it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say, so your junior year in high school, you caught 61 passes, over 1,100 yards, 17 touchdowns, which led all of Oregon's 6A in touchdowns. Walk me through those final 2 years of high school and what that was like.
Yeah. So I started on varsity both sides of the ball since sophomore year. And then junior year was kind of when I really took my step as a player, and I just had a lot of chemistry with my quarterback at the time, and we had two other really good receivers too, so I wasn't expected to have the year that I did. But yeah, we had a good year that year, and then that quarterback graduated, so I kind of had to figure out a like build that chemistry again with a younger QB. And then he got injured like third game of the season. We had to bring in like our one of our linebackers, but it was kind of a disaster. But we still managed to have a decent year. So
You got a passing touchdown in there too.
yeah, last game of the season they actually had me playing quarterback. And they just had me throwing a fade ball. It's like a 55-yard fade ball, and a guy got it and took it to the house. So, yeah.
What's it like to see Washington State? Obviously during the time of Mike Leach, the air raid, no tight ends. There wasn't a tight end on campus for 7 years. And now it's kind of been revived. Cooper Mather's obviously the all-time leader now in touchdowns, single season for the Cougs. What's it like to have that identity back on campus, and you're one of the first, really getting it back into ignition?
Yeah, I think it's super cool that Dicker brought that in as when he started being head coach, and I'm one of the few like starting guys to kind of fill that role, and I'm excited to get developed and kind of bring tight ends back into Washington State. That'll be a big thing for me for sure.
Who's a guy maybe college wise or in the NFL that you like watching tape wise, or maybe you can't get enough of his tape or emulate yourself around?
Yeah, I think a guy kind of a play alike is Isaiah Likely on the Ravens. I think that we're kind of similar size, and I think we run routes similar. I think that's kind of how I put my game on.
Yeah, not a bad tight end crew over there. Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, really fun offense too. They use their tight ends in a bunch of different ways. What's it going to be like for you to stay near your hometown and stay in the Northwest area?
Yeah, it means a lot. It's like a 5-hour drive, not far at all. It's also far enough that I can kind of get away for a bit. But yeah, it really means a lot. That was a big thing for me as well. Just being able to stay close to home and having the same Pacific Northwest kind of air around. So it feels good.
When are you heading over to campus, and what are you most looking forward to when you first get there?
Yeah. So I'm right after I graduate. So I think June, let's say 4th or 5th. And I'm just really excited just to get to work and get developed and try to play as soon as I can. And I'm just ready. I'm just ready to play some football for sure.
I got the perfect NIL opportunity for you. We're going to make the Cash App.
Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect. Exactly.
What's your favorite part about playing football? With yourself being a tight end, there's multiple pieces to it. There's the blocking side of it. There's the route running. There's catching. There's, running guys over. What's your favorite part of playing the game?
Yeah, that's one thing about playing tight end that I think is really, really fun. Like kind of the best position out there is you just kind of can do it all. You can lay a guy out, pancake him, but you can also go and get a jump ball. And to be honest, I really like it all. I like the physical aspect of it, but I also love scoring touchdowns. And I think my versatility can bring a lot to the program right away. So,
you play any other sports in high school? I don't know if we touched on that.
Yeah, I'm playing basketball right now.
Okay.
I didn't play last year, just to focus more on 7-on-7 and recruiting and stuff. But I played freshman sophomore year too.
Perfect. Yeah, should be a nice season for you guys. Well, Cash, appreciate you jumping on. It was fantastic to talk to you. Here's some insights from a tight end. Sounds like you're more of a guy that might prefer the pancake than the touchdown catch, and that's my kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, I played more receiver in high school, and I led the state in touchdowns my junior year. So I definitely wouldn't say that I don't like getting touchdowns, but
tell me I'm wrong, please.
No, but I like all aspects of tight end for sure.
Yeah, well, thanks for jumping on. Really appreciate your time. Looking forward to seeing you progress and when you get up there, and we'll see you on the field soon.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.